Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Scope. And now, here are your hosts, Jared, Adam, and Shane.
Everybody, episode 171 of your favorite pod/video cast, The Scope Show Incorporated.
We're an LLC.
It's like Kids Incorporated from the olden days.
Oh, I got it. Whoa.
Wow!
I'm glad the mic picked up on that. Sorry, ladies.
That was dramatic.
Jared is here. Adam is here as his junk is exposed under the table.
No, it's not exposed anymore.
Oh,
that was zipping up, not down.
I see.
They're very distinctive sounds, the up versus the down zipper.
I wouldn't know.
You only wear
it's
elastic,
all Velcro.
elastic
No,
bands?
it's all
Oh, okay.
Velcro.
It's much safer.
It's more of a...
Yeah, it's more of a ripping sound.
Yeah.
You mean hook and loop tape.
Oh, right. Velcro's a
Sorry.
trademark.
Sorry.
name.
Well, we're back.
Sorry.
Yeah, man.
After a great
Sorry.
episode 170 last week, guys.
Awesome.
We killed it with... Is that What's Her Face from Saturday Night Live?
Yeah. Angie loves it when I do that.
That's pretty good. You know, the girl talk?
Yeah. Awesome.
Adam, you like that?
I do. What show?
Saturday Night Live.
I've never heard of it.
With Angela Merkel. She was on, Jared, last week.
Was she?
Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Deutschland.
Thanks for listening, folks. We'll get you next time.
Yep, very good. So we are going to do our very best to keep it brief this week. But I have to say,
Lots to talk about.
there's a lot to talk about. We're going to be catching up with your Scope hosts. We've been up to a lot, guys.
Have we? You more than the rest of us.
Well, Adam's got stuff upcoming. Jared, you are always a man of town.
I don't know if I have anything earth-shaking, but I've been doing some stuff.
All
Did you
right.
just call Jared a slut?
I did.
Is that what a man of town means?
Yes.
Man of town. I'm going to write that
A
down.
man of town.
Man of town.
It's. I think it's a stepping stone on my way to king of town.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Don't
there we
slut
go.
shame Jared. It's rude.
The king of town being a Homestar Runner reference.
Homestar.
Which I don't know if you guys went there on April 1st, but they have updated their intro video.
I did. It's different.
good
First
fun.
time in 4 years.
Yeah.
Homestar Runner. That's all I can do.
Good stuff.
All right, guys. So let's just jump right in.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm hitting the mic.
Hey-o.
Let's take a quick break, and then we'll be back with catching up with your Scope hosts right after this.
Hey.
The first ever comedy music convention is here, with performances by Carrie Dolby, Devo Spice, Garden Fresh, The Great Luke Ski, Tony Goldmark, Matt Griffo, Dan Hart, Insane Ian, Phil Johnson, Possible Oscar, Power Salad, Raymond and Scum, Sea Monkey, Tom Smith, and Worm Quartet. And presenting this year's special guest of honor, legendary radio personality Dr. Demento. FunkFest is taking place June 20th through 22nd at the Westin North Shore in Wheeling, Illinois, just outside Chicago. Tickets for the weekend are just $35 until March 31st. Join us for live concerts, panels, Dr. Demento's Festival of Dementia, Demented Karaoke, a Q&A with Meatmorph Studios, and the 4th annual Logan Whitehurst Memorial Awards for Excellence in Comedy Music, hosted by Dr. Demento.
Hi, this is Dr. Demento. Come join me and my friends from the Fump at FumpFest this June in Chicagoland.
Visit fumpfest.com to register for the event and reserve your hotel now. That's FUMPFEST.com.
Hey, everybody, we are back.
It's like I've forgotten how to run the show.
Yeah, in 1 week.
In
Or 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Jared, Adam, and me, Shade, we are back. Scope 171, our 9th year. Jared, rocking out. Look at him go.
You know that song really well.
I know.
Or the drum portion.
You couldn't hear me doing the double kick, but I was doing it.
He was doing the double kick.
It's like double mint gum.
So we thought we'd spend...
And twins!
thought we'd spend a few minutes catching up with us because, you know, we never do that. We never talk about ourselves or what we're up to. It's just bit after bit, news, hit the post. We do that every week practically. Stolen by the Nerdist podcast.
Wow.
And Arrested Development, they steal it too. Not
Did
Arrested
they?
Development, I don't know. Yeah. Forget it. Modern, I don't know.
The band?
I was going to say Modern Family, and I
Mr.
said
Wendell?
Mr. Wendell with the guy in the rocking chair.
Yeah.
So, one of the reasons why we had an extended break, we had a 2-week break, right, Jared, on our Scope show?
Yes, we did.
Was because I was out of the country.
Right, you were off the grid.
I was off the grid, which I really wasn't. I ended up
you were
spending
the opposite of off the grid. based on
International
Facebook.
espionage.
I spent a lot of money paying for data services. I took my family to Cozumel. That's an island
Cozumel.
off of the eastern coast of Mexico.
Near the Yucatan, isn't it?
The Yucatan area. Absolutely. It's
Yucatan adjacent, you might say.
you might say it. I'm not going to say it.
You might say Yucatan adjacent.
How was it?
It was fun, and I have a bunch of notes here.
How many days were you there for?
Yeah, so you guys can ask me questions. How
All
about
right,
that?
I'm asking you
I was there for 7 days.
And is this the first non-cabin? You do your summer cabin vacation. Is this the first non-cabin family vacation you guys? Are
we
taking? Like a
actually,
real one?
well, no, we went to St. Louis to visit some friends for close to a week a few years back. But this was our first tropical real vacation.
So this is Audrey's first
Yeah.
tropical vacation.
Yes, and she.
I mean, I know it gets hot in the summer here. But.
Yeah, but this is a very exciting time for a 9-year-old kid.
Okay.
I mean, she talked about this for weeks. Like,
And she knows Spanish.
she does. That's one of the reasons why we booked it.
Nice.
Interesting.
Should have fucked with her and gone to Spain, where
Yeah,
it's completely
it's
different dialect of Spanish.
The interesting thing about the trip is that I probably used as much Spanish as Audrey did while we were there.
Because you went to a largely English-speaking resort.
I mean, they tend to default to English, or they'll say, can I get you something? They'll say it in Spanish, and then they will immediately repeat it in English. I mean, Cozumel is a very touristy island. So if you stay on the standard path of travel, you're really going to be
The
bumping
white
it.
path.
The white path, Jared.
I'm realizing now you probably need a backlight to separate you from the background a little bit. But
No,
carry on.
in
Floating
Mexico,
head.
his head was cut from his
Yep.
body. And
Got
this
it.
is just him now.
So I just have some notes about my trip, and but I wanted to ask Adam, because you are a traveler.
All right.
What is your stance on reclining seats?
On a plane?
When you're on a plane,
yes.
what
Not
is-
in the house.
what's-
Lazy boys are obviously acceptable.
What do you do? Because I'm going to tell you what I experienced when I was on the plane.
I don't recline. I definitely don't recline fully, and I typically don't recline, period.
Yeah.
It's not fair to the people behind you. Now, what I will try to do is use the first exit row, because that means the people in front of you have non-reclining seats. So they can't recline into your lap.
I got to remember that. Too.
Yep, and that's, I'm sure. So
That's a plane hack.
If
right
the
there.
plane crashes, you don't want those reclined seats to be in the way of exiting.
Exactly.
Oh, very smart.
Yes.
But yeah,
Does it aggravate you when you don't get those seats and you get the people that like to recline, or does that?
Sure. It's frustrating. I tend to, if I can, sit in on most airlines now, the first few rows of coach are kind of an in-between coach and first class. You have to pay extra to sit there, or if you can get upgraded based on your status. And people, if they do recline, it's not as, you can't see their nose in your lap.
Well,
unless you want them to be
It's
there.
amazing how tightly they pack people into planes.
Yeah.
I mean, the plane that we were on, I don't even know what it was, 737 maybe.
Okay.
And
Seems pretty common. What
and-
airline?
Sun Country.
Yeah, it's probably
Was that a
737.
3-2? Like a 3 seats on one side, 2
Three
on
on both sides.
Okay.
Yep.
So to me, it seemed like this plane at some point
Have
probably
the little wingtips on it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
737.
It seemed to me like maybe it used to be a plane that had a 3 and 2, and then they adjusted it to make it 3 and 3
Right.
because
Well, they were like, hey, people are getting skinnier. Let's fit more on here.
so you
Yes, that's the national trend.
you barely have 18 inches. So if you know, and I'm a skinny guy, but it's
I have more than
tight
18
in there,
inches.
you know.
Yeah.
But so when I get on this plane, I'm not kidding you. The first thing the guy does in front of me is recline his seat all the way back.
He's, you know what
I mean,
he's
that's
doing.
the first thing that he did.
That's known. That's a known move. That's setting his space. So what people will do if you were sitting next to your wife and daughter, I assume, so you were fine there. What people will do when they sit down and it's a stranger next to you, they will take up the armrests right away, and now that's their area. You can't mess with it now.
Wow.
So that's what that guy was doing. He was setting the expectation ahead of time.
That's bullshit.
And of course, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
People are horrible.
Yeah.
This is a long flight, I assume.
Yeah, it was a 4-hour flight.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding you. The space that I had to actually maneuver had to be about this much. It was probably under a foot of space.
Could you fully use your tray table?
Well, yes, you can do that. But I mean, when you have that tray
But is
table,
that like
it's
right
practically touching my belly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how close it is.
Right.
So I made sure that with number one, I made sure that the guy heard that I said, "Oh, great, I have no space." And then every time, and here's the jokes on him. My wife has to go to the bathroom every 5 seconds.
Whose wife?
My wife.
My wife.
My wife.
There you go.
Nice. So every time she would get up, I'd just make sure, because I'd have to get up, I'd make sure I'd bang the seat.
Why didn't you just make your
Bitches.
daughter sit there? She takes up even less space
Because
than
she
you.
wanted to sit by the window.
Oh, okay, that's nice of you. Because she wanted to look outside the whole time.
So yeah, she loved that.
What a nice dad.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm not a big guy, so it's not that big of a deal. It's just rude. Though.
No, people don't care.
No, and it happened on the way back. Like you can look down the plane, and you
You're
can
getting
see who's
angrier. I love it.
reclined,
Yeah.
and you can see who's straight up. And there was probably 5 seats that were reclined because everybody knew that it was a tight space.
So
mine was one of them.
Here's the only way it's okay to recline: if everyone reclines.
Yeah.
If everyone reclines, then everyone has that same amount of space.
Yeah.
But not everyone's going to recline. So.
And I think that I'm nice enough and aware enough that I just wouldn't. It doesn't matter how uncomfortable my flight is going to be. I'm never going to recline my seat. You get this much space. What is that going to do for you?
Yeah.
It does nothing for you other than piss the person off behind you, Jared.
I've been pretty fortunate in my recent air travels, both of which were trips to Florida over the last few years. On our first trip, we sort of had Angie's sister help us buy tickets through Delta, and we ended up with seats that weren't together. So what we did is we checked in, and then we immediately went to the ticket desk at the gate and got arranged. It was like, "Oh, we're not sitting together. Is there any chance we can be together?" And she's like, "Oh, we have an exit row. Thank you."
Perfect.
So our flight down, we got an exit row, and our flight back, we were in the front row of the whole cabin. So we had as much leg space as we wanted.
We
It
call
was
that the death row.
It was
if your plane
fantastic.
crashes.
Whatever. I didn't think it was going to crash.
You're all gonna crash. You're all gonna die. So
we
it's
flew Southwest on the way down this last time, and back, and so we didn't really. You don't get to pick your seats. You just
Sure.
you get your boarding group, and then it's a free for all. But we were fortunate enough that we didn't have anyone recline, and I think maybe I had one person recline, like maybe first click or whatever, not very far back.
Yeah.
So I haven't had that experience yet, but. Ugh.
What about?
I think it's terrible etiquette. I don't think anyone should recline. Unless it's like a flight that's like 6 hours and you're
Yeah.
going to try to sleep, maybe. But
Yeah, it's not a sleeping flight.
I mean, if you're flying 2.5 hours, come on. How comfortable do you need to get?
And keep in mind that our flight was early. I mean, we were
Sure.
at the airport at 2:30 in the morning, and the flight left at 5:30. So people are tired, but
Yeah.
I think you need to be respectful. What about? And you fly a lot, Adam. What about the overhead baggage area? So here's the thing. I don't ever use that.
You only check.
I check a bag, and then I bring a backpack that has my.
And you put that underneath.
And I put it under.
Yep.
But what about people that put stuff up there that A, doesn't fit, or they decide that they're not going to put it above their seat, that they're going to go 5 rows down that way and put it up there and screw it up for somebody else? What's the etiquette on that? Please explain this
Now,
to me.
a lot of this is Delta. You flew Delta?
No,
You
I
said-
flew Sun
okay.
Country.
A lot of it's the airline's fault for not enforcing their own bag policies, because what they say will fit is the smallest. It's a bag that doesn't exist.
Sure.
It's it is a probably a 12 by 10 bag.
Yeah.
And they
It's like
say
a
that's
lunchbox,
it.
essentially.
Yeah. But that's not what actually fits. So they just kind of let anything through. So yeah, I've had people like bringing like trumpet cases. Yeah. Trombone cases on to put on the overhead, and like, oh, okay, that's 3 normal people.
Sure.
So, and they let it happen. I don't have an issue.
So if you're boarding late, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with people putting it in the wrong spot, especially with planes where one side is smaller than the other side. Like I think that's going to happen.
Sure.
So
Okay, I'm just wondering.
I think that's.
I never
if
use
you,
it, so I
if
don't
you,
know.
And if you have if it's a largely female crowd, they're often going to have a bag plus a purse. So they may.
My biggest issue is people
True.
not using their under seat space
Yeah.
and just putting everything up top.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, everyone has one small spot where your backpack goes, but a lot of people will say, oh, my feet are going to go there. I'm going to put my backpack up top. And it's like, you can put your feet and your backpack down there together.
It's not super comfortable,
right.
but
Yeah.
I mean, you're just being respectful to the people around you. Again, it's not all about you being on this plane, Adam.
Adam. It's all your
I mean, I know what you're working up to, and that is it okay? How
Is it
many
okay to have
farts?
sex on a plane?
How many? Well, come on,
That's
gross.
number 1.
How many farts are you allowed to expel during a 4-hour flight?
And the answer?
Well, I think 2 an hour is a good
2 an hour.
Yeah.
What if you
Wait, if you multiply it out over the entire population of an airplane during a flight, you're looking at almost a constant stream of gas emittal.
By the way,
I think that's fair.
the guy that reclined his seat on the way back in front of me was probably 20, 21. I know he was farting in front of me. I could totally smell it.
Did you
and
see
it
him? Did he
disgusted
have
me.
a breakfast burrito at the gate?
Well, I didn't see that, but he did find some sort of chalupa-like thing. No, this is an interesting flight too because I'm not a big fan of flying. I mean,
You get scared?
I do get scared. I don't. It's not something that I present outwardly. Like you wouldn't be able to look at me and say, "Oh, well, that guy has really got an issue." But it's something that I think about a lot. Like weeks leading up to the flight, I think about it.
When did Flight 370 crash?
Right around there. And so it was that probably crashed about a week before.
Okay.
And so I am like, doing the research and all this stuff and justifying it in my head and
You're like,
well,
are we flying Malaysian Airlines? I don't think we are.
It can't be mechanical. It has to be some crazy person. And like, are you gonna have crazy people going on a flight to Cancun? No, it would never happen. So yeah, I get myself really, really worked up about it. And then once we get in the air, once we get past liftoff, then I'm fine. But
What about landing?
Landing? I'm not as worried about.
Never fly into Reno, Nevada.
Really?
It is all wind and it's all crosswind.
Yeah.
I had the worst landing of my life on that. Like, you know how when you land hard, you're like, man, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I swear the under wing engines, one of them scraped the ground.
Wow.
Like,
And
we were like this coming in.
And when you're getting blown around in that crosswind, you can feel the plane shifting left and right. And you're like, this is not.
And we were
good.
in one of those little planes.
Yeah.
Flying into Midway is similar too because the runways are very short there,
Yeah.
so they need to come in pretty hard and land quickly. So
Well, the thing about
and it's a windy city.
it is very windy. It lives up to its name. The thing about the Cozumel airport is that it's tiny.
Yeah.
I mean, the runways seem to be standard. That's not a problem. But the airport itself is not huge. And they get about 9 planes in a day.
Okay.
So you get off the plane, and it's one of those planes where there's no thing that's connected. So you're walking downstairs outside.
That's cool.
And they've got all these people
It's like
waiting.
the 60s all over again.
Yeah, it is. It's very much like that. You got all these people waiting for you, and they're ushering you into this. It's like a ghost airport. There's nobody there. There's 3 guys checking you through, and it's interesting when you go to Mexico because they've got. Everybody's trying to take your money. I mean, that's sort of the plan.
We have no industry other than taking your
The
money.
racist, the podcast just got racist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's true though. You get out there and a lot of
They're all they're hustling.
most of the people that are there, they have
hustler, baby.
packages where we've gone through a travel agent or something, and there's a system where you're going to meet this specific person or this company, and they're going to be there, and your name's going to be a list. They got a shuttle take you to the hotel, that kind of stuff. But they actually have people that are waiting outside that are dressed like these people that are trying to get you to buy timeshares or rent cars to try to trick you. So if you're not paying attention, you could end up probably dead.
Were you warned of this?
Oh, yeah.
When you were booked your travel?
We were warned of it. It's
Okay.
all in our paperwork, but if people aren't paying attention.
Were they like an official representative will have a special sort of beacon above their
They'll
head?
have a tie and they'll have a certain dress style and name tags, which you're supposed to keep an eye out for.
Okay.
I would just
Interesting.
like to point out real quickly that Las Vegas is identical. to
Las
this.
Vegas is
so
the same
it's
thing.
not. There are a lot of Mexicans in Las Vegas too.
Wow, there we go. So our plane gets in at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Like, hey, great, we're beating all the traffic. It's great. We're going to be there. We're going to have all this time.
Is there a rush hour in Cozumel?
There's no rush hour.
Same
but, I
time
mean,
zone as
Yeah, same
here,
time
right?
zone
Central?
too.
Yeah.
So just a super hot sun that's going to burn your flesh off, especially if you're a fair-skinned Minnesotan. But you get there. You're thinking no traffic or no airport traffic here in Minneapolis. We're going to be easy in, easy out. But you forget that when you get to your hotel, they're even shocked to see you at 9 a.m. They're like, "Senor, check-in is at 3 p.m." They're like, "It's 9:30 right now. What do we do?"
And you're like, I just want a nap.
Yeah. And keep in mind, when we left here, the temperature was 15 degrees. I mean, and it's supposed to be like 50 degrees, but it was 15 degrees. You get down there, it's 85. I was smart enough to bring shorts in my bag. My wife and child, they're just like, screw it. We're going to wear short skirts and swimming trunks on the plane, and whatever happens. But we had to sit there for 6 hours to get our hotel room.
Like, could you go to the pool or could you do anything?
We really couldn't do that much of anything. We could sit in the main lobby area. You could walk around. I mean, they give you wristbands, but your bags are checked. So, like, I had a backpack, which I I was not going to leave my bag because I had like my iPad and
Yeah.
all my stuff. I'm just not going to leave that to chance. I refused to do it. So yeah, we sat around and drank, and poor Audrey was so bored.
Well, you didn't let her drink?
She had like Virgin Miami Vice. That was their specialty drink there, the Miami Vice.
They don't have like a My First Tequila, a little starter tequila for people, a little lower alcohol. Get people
We ease her in.
acclimate.
I can tell you that I saw numerous occasions of underage kids trying to drink, and some being successfly.
Underage, like 17, 18?
Yeah, because there's two different color wristbands. There's the old old folks like us, and then the young kids. And there was this girl who she looked like something out of a French lesbian film. She was probably 16 or 17. Like that one film that was really popular this year. Like this girl seemed way more worldly and experienced than she should have been. And she'd just go up to the bar and she'd have 2 big old glasses of booze. And she was sitting just slightly down from us when we were there the first day. And I saw her come back with these things. And I'm even thinking, boy, that girl does not look old enough to be drinking. And about 2 minutes later, a representative from the hotel is just going through picking up glasses, and he comes up to her, and he looks at her and goes, "Are you old enough to be drinking those?" And she just sort of goes. So he reaches down, grabs them, smells it, shakes his finger at her, takes it away, and walks away.
This is an all-inclusive?
Yeah, all-inclusive.
So you can just go up and order.
And then she turns around, and she looks at me, and she just does this. Like, oh well, and then she gets up and goes back and gets another drink. And the other thing was that her father was actually there with her from time to time, and he was actively encouraging her or not stopping her from drinking. I could never imagine doing that with Audrey, not in a million years.
Well, I mean,
Wait, was she French? Like, or she looked...
I think she looked like she might have been. They might have been foreign, but I don't know for sure. I can't nail it down. But she definitely looked like she was trouble, if you know what I'm saying.
It's not technically illegal in Minnesota to drink alcohol underage in your own home under parental supervision.
Really?
It's not. Maybe. I mean, if
did not
anyone
know
wants
that.
to correct me, I mean, in your own home with your parents supervising, I think it's illegal. You just can't go.
You
out
just
and
do
drive afterward, and you
don't
can't.
do it.
You can't necessarily give it to other people. But
I'll look into it. We'll make a video of Audrey getting smashed.
The problem with
I'm
doing
not
that...
saying it's the right choice. I'm
but
just
people
saying I
will
don't-
do this.
Well,
Yeah,
you lose your DD if you let her drink.
Yeah. She's
You're a 9-year-old.
She picks you up with the Frenchman, right?
That's trouble.
Yeah.
So, Adam, have you ever seen the video game where they have
I've
these
seen them all.
the zombie resort?
Yeah.
What's that called?
Dead Island?
Dead Island. So we had the hotel from Dead Island next to us.
What?
And I can show you pictures. And
What do you mean? Can you use words to describe it?
So, like, our hotel was nice. It was a 4-star hotel, but there was a whole.
Are those Mexican stars or American stars?
Right. What's the exchange rate?
I don't know. I think it was 18.2 pesos.
Okay.
So the hotel next to us.
They're Puerto Rican stars. They only have one.
Right.
So everything's a 1-star,
The hotel
which is the best and the worst.
Yes. The hotel next to us, and here's a picture for you, Adam.
Okay. Podcast listeners.
You can show it on your camera if you want. You can zoom in.
That's there was no one there, right?
Yeah, the hotel next to us, Jared, was destroyed by a hurricane that had come in like 5 years.
It's hard to do.
I think it was 5 years prior.
Wow.
And
They just gave up. They're like,
And yeah, it was one of those things where they chose not to rebuild it. So it
or
just
tear
there.
it down.
Yeah, or tear it down. And so you have this. Our hotel is this beautiful. It looks like it's made of clay, like oranges and stuff like that, beautifully painted. And then you've got this gray. It looked like something out of a science fiction movie where something came in and just sucked all the life out of the area. They just dropped a death bomb on it, and all this overlay of like dead leaves and trees and
Wow.
dead banana plants and probably gators in there. And it's just, I mean, seriously, you could look out your balcony and you could look over there.
Yeah. Like
You can see it, Adam? Isn't that crazy?
Like there's trees. I know. So there's like an alive tree,
And then there's dead.
and there's just a
death.
dead tree right next
Wow.
I wanted to go over there and explore it, but I was scared I wouldn't come back alive.
Yeah.
And I think we actually had Audrey very, very scared about the situation because Carrie and I'd be like, oh, let's go take some pictures of the zombie hotel. Wait, Dad, what? There's zombies over here? There's zombies in there? Like, no, they don't exist. They're not real. We're just calling it that. But she didn't believe it. Like, she actually thought that there was possibly something going on over there that involved The Walking Dead. But
to it. She's probably never been this far away from home.
yeah,
Who knows?
it was scary. And then, of course, she wouldn't ever talk to the help in Spanish. It was always here you go. Here's $2 for a tip. She's always very scared of that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was the guests that were at our hotel.
Okay.
Now, the majority of
Other than the underage drinkers.
the majority of them were Midwestern. I
Yeah.
mean, the last time we went to Playa, which is right across it was on the mainland, right across the island. It was a lot of Germans, a lot of Canadians. But for whatever reason,
And so for the purposes of this trip, you were Canadian as well.
I was
right?
Canadian. Yeah, I didn't actually see one Canadian. There was a lot of Minnesotans.
Wait, how do
there.
you know?
It's a good question.
Okay.
People from
Well, you can tell by the level of apologizing.
Oh, okay.
That's the key.
No. And this is something they tell you not to do,
Yeah.
but people do anyway. They say don't be wearing outfits with flags
Oh, yeah.
and stuff that says where you're from.
Sure.
But that doesn't stop all good Americans that are there. They will wear their Wisconsin Badgers shirts, their Green Bay Packers shirts, their Ohio Buckeye shirts, their Nebraska shirts, their Minnesota shirts.
Okay.
People like to tell you where they're from.
Here's the thing. I would be fine because I own none of those things.
Me too.
I don't
Yeah.
own anything that is branded from a location.
Yeah, I refuse
So-
to do it. Like, why would you do that, Adam?
Okay, I do have a Florida Gators sweatshirt that was gifted to me several years ago.
Which you could wear ironically.
I could
Yeah.
wear ironically, but I wouldn't because I don't actually wear it.
Because they're on vacation, damn it, and they're going to wear what they
They'll
want.
wear what we want to wear. Maybe that's all what their clothes are. I don't know.
Look, I'm packing nothing but university T-shirts when I travel.
Very nice.
There is a guy at my work who only wears Minnesota Wild jerseys. So
Maybe he was there.
Yeah.
Well, and it drives me crazy. Like the people that go and they've got Wisconsin / Green Bay everything.
Yeah.
They've got
I'm not
Green
an-
Bay swim trunks. Like the guy had a camo Green Bay Packers swim trunk.
You told me not to wear anything American.
Yeah.
Right.
This
It's
isn't
disgusting.
This isn't American. Well, educated people might be able to infer
Yeah.
that if you're wearing something from a United State, you could be from the United States.
Now that you said, so when I was in Puerto Rico last year, 2 years ago, this happened also, but it happened while people were watching Monday Night Football. So everyone, like the bar that we wanted to go to, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna have Monday Night Football on." Everyone from this tiny little sub island, come on down. And there's probably 7 hotels, so everyone there was from America.
and the natives were disappointed that they weren't kicking the ball more.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone was wearing football jerseys. Even I think it was like the Vikings won Monday night game from 2000.
Like I don't want to pack a football jersey for something like that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
My favorite T-shirt that I saw there was it was a silhouette of the state of Wisconsin with a big
Calvin peeing on it.
frothy beer mug in the middle, and then it had the phrase on it: "Drink Wisconsinably."
Okay.
Like we're
Okay.
advocating drinking in a Wisconsin style of drinking, Jared. What would that mean?
Or it's just a dumb pun.
Well, this guy was smashed. But yeah, it's.
He was drinking Wisconsinably
Yeah.
then.
I have to say that overall, I think that Americans as tourists live up to the
stereotype?
the low standard / stereotype of what the world thinks of us.
I
they-
mean, most
so-
stereotypes have.
So number one, they're very loud.
Very loud.
Number
Yep.
two, they're always staring up at buildings like they've never seen one before.
They're investigating zombie hotels. That's the other thing.
Number three, they wear shorts and floral shirts everywhere,
That's
even
a-
though the locals would probably wear, a nice slacks.
A lot of Tommy Bahama type
Yeah.
stuff. A lot of
they have a store at the Mall of America. What do you expect?
a lot of Margaritaville flavored things.
Flavored margaritas.
Yep.
See, most pro travelers would say, do some research on what people normally wear in the area you're traveling
Just
to,
wear normal clothes
and try to blend in. Don't. Yeah, but Americans, there's a lot of Americans who are just like, I'm American. I don't give.
I will do
I'm
what I
gonna do
want.
what I
to do.
want.
Yep.
And so I guess maybe we've earned the reputation.
I would say in Puerto Rico, Germans were much louder than the Americans that
I
we
don't
ran
disagree
into.
with that.
Okay.
And so I don't know if it's
Maybe
just,
their language is naturally louder.
that's certainly
be.
possible, or it's
and they always have a beer hall
noticeable.
mentality.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that in general, and I'll step back a little bit, but people who go to these tropical places, these tourism places, they feel the need to kind of let loose and they may be louder than what they normally are. But I don't know if there's, at least at the resort we were at, there's awareness of where you were at compared to what you would be at home. The other thing is you got to remember that the people that are working at these hotels are probably making $1 or $2 a day. So at the same time you're there, you're having a good time. I felt like kind of a shithead. You're sort of taking advantage of these people that are there, but you're having a good time and you want to have a good time. So
Well, there's a
you're
reason-
always trying to strike a balance.
There's a reason that they can do the all-inclusive is because they don't have to pay people
Yeah.
as much. So yeah.
So what you do, I don't know if so. Yes, I felt that I would feel the
White
same
guilt?
way. Yeah.
Did you feel like if you drank less, that the person serving you would get a little extra bump in the paycheck at the end of the week?
No, I didn't do that. I just,
I
I
just
was
tip more.
Yeah, and the other thing is they don't want you to tip. At least that's the official hotel stance on it.
Yeah.
Tipping is included.
Okay.
But people do tip a lot depending on your situation. We didn't drink that much, but I know there were a lot of people that were around pools and stuff that every time someone would come, they'd give them $1 just to make sure that they'd get good service or maybe a better.
So
level of
tipping's
booze.
included, but additional tipping isn't discouraged.
Yeah.
It's like when you're at a restaurant and you get the 18% automatically added, and the tipping line is still there for you to add more.
Sure. If you got excellent service.
Except in this case, it's probably 0.5% was automatically added or something ridiculously low.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so you have that. You've got that guilt, and then you've got the people that totally take advantage of the situation and just they act like the hotel is their living room.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it could not have been
A lot of one hand in the pants like Al Bundy?
It could not have been crystallized any more
Oh,
than
nothing but current references for you.
I love it. Then I called it the Nacho family.
Okay.
So our resort had
well, okay, wait. Were they Hispanic?
No, they
I
were
don't
not.
know. You may call them the cheese and chips family.
No,
then.
I'm calling the Nacho family.
right.
I believe they were from.
They call it cheese and chips on the East Coast because we call it chips and cheese
It's
here.
chips and cheese here
sorry.
for sure because you get more chips than cheese. By the way, you would think that a resort in Mexico would have the greatest nachos on the planet.
No, I wouldn't. Nachos are an American invention.
Or okay, even the greatest chips.
Okay.
And there's a lot of tortilla chips
Yes.
in Mexico, but so they have this nacho bar when they've got.
They even have a bar.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Look,
I
if you're
could
gonna
do-
have,
I
if you're
could do
gonna
a whole
have,
show on the food quality.
if you're gonna have a bar dedicated to nachos, you better bring the A game. That's what I'm.
Okay.
the
That's
A
fair.
game. So what's the most common nacho cheese company that's got that the squishy yellow cheese like Ortega?
Oh,
Maybe like
sure.
Ortega.
A jar, sure.
So they've got like this big machine. It's almost like a fountain dispenser.
Everything is dispensed in quantity
Yeah.
at this place.
And you get your chips and you lay them on your plate and then you squeeze this yellow goo on.
Yeah.
And if you think of the quality of like the Taco Bell cheese, questionable, but it's edible. Right?
Yeah.
This stuff was like a lukewarm, sloppy, not even a paste. I mean, it was like more viscous than paint
Okay.
and tasteless.
Tasteless. It's just a squishy glob in
Yeah.
your mouth.
But people still
The silent yellow.
people still love this stuff there, and they're eating these nachos like crazy. So we are.
Well, it's unlimited nachos.
It's
Why
unlimited.
wouldn't you eat them like crazy?
So
You're losing money by not eating
know.
nachos.
I don't care if they're flavorless. You can eat as much as you want.
So we get into the elevator that's going up. Which, by the way,
There's an elevator to the nacho bar?
no we're going back to our hotel room.
It's its own floor.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're going back to our room because we're disgusted by the food.
Okay.
And there's a kid in there with us, and this fairly obese couple is like coming for the elevator, and one of the elevators is always broken. It's a Mexican resort. What do you want? It happens.
I don't know what that's supposed to imply.
Do they install an extra one when they're building it, just anticipating that one will
They've
always
got
break?
a pulley system.
Shane,
they climb
they're
up.
hardworking people.
They absolutely are hardworking
All
people,
right.
but it's like there's not necessarily the same level of care, because there just isn't.
Okay.
It's not the same. So
The building we used to work at frequently
Yeah.
had one of two elevators being
this
broken.
was in more of a dilapidated state than that. I'm just saying, and
Okay.
I think part of it has to do with the hotel ownership. I'm not saying it's Mexican people. I'm
Right.
saying that the ownership.
Again,
they,
we get that back to the exchange rate on those Mexican
yeah,
stores.
they save as much money. They wring as much money out of it as they can.
Oh, of course.
So anyway, and this is the owners, not the people that work there. So we're there and we hold this elevator for these guys, and there's this guy. They along with his girlfriend, and they've both got this giant plate of nachos, each of them, and they're sort of holding them above.
They took a to-go
above
plate.
their breasts because they all four of them have breasts.
Yes.
And one guy has like a really tight wife beater, just dirty gray, and the other girl's got like a swimsuit, bikini top, and then with like a short hooded sweatshirt that's unzipped. And they're running for the elevator. And number one, I'm never going to bring food to my room. That food, it's going to stay. I'm going to keep that disgusting scent away from my
There's
food.
a place for it.
There's a place for it, exactly. So they're bringing this plates of nachos to their room, and they get in, and then they're just literally shoveling these nachos into their face to the point where I'm looking at this
Like on the go.
like
Okay.
as they're walking, they're eating.
Look, we got to we're going back to our room, but I don't think we can make it.
Yeah,
we need to bring some to-go nachos
We've got
to fuel us
it's the to-go nachos
as we go.
They're just upping the West Wing by they're going from a walk and talk to a walk and talk and eat. It's
Walking
fine.
super nacho talk.
It's a walk and notch.
And I'm writing that down. Walk and notch. And I look at this kid, and I mean, we give this the dual look of disgust. Like, are we really witnessing this? And Audrey's watching this, like, oh my god, look at these people shoveling this in.
She's like, you can eat nachos on the go.
And they're
Oh my
eating
god,
it, and
Dad!
I'm not kidding. It's like the nachos are dripping onto their body. And
Really?
yeah,
Like in
it
a
just-
hot way?
Yeah, no. I'm just like,
This is like
I'm like,
an
do-
Adult Swim cartoon.
do you not have
This is like
self-respect?
this is like Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
No words were spoken, and then one
Amazing.
of them also had a pack of cigarettes in their hand.
Of course,
So
as you do. So wait, so one hand is holding nachos,
Yeah.
one hand holding
sort of like
cigarettes,
this. Yeah.
and are we just
Well,
dipping
what-
the face in?
I would say that
How does
the
this work?
person that was holding both was not eating nachos.
Okay.
They were holding it. I don't understand why they're holding it up by their face.
Shane.
Like maybe they wanted to
Because
feedback
they thought the little kid or Audrey was
That
gonna steal their
person
food.
wishes they were eating nachos,
Yeah.
though.
And the other girl
said-
who was eating just sloppy. I mean,
Wow.
it made me so disgusted. I never want to eat nachos again.
That's
I will,
fair.
but I will. But
You'll
at
get
that,
over it.
At that
That's
moment, I'm like, this is a representative of the country that I come from.
No, they're
And-
not. They're barely a representative of humanity.
Of humanity.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay, well, I felt bad about it, and it was disgusting. And I did actually go back and try. I had not tried the nacho cheese from that point.
Oh, really?
And I did go try it to see maybe there's something to it that would
Yeah.
make you want to act
Maybe
like
you
something.
just you were just had an
cocaine in
off
it.
day
Yeah.
and you're like, maybe I'll try it.
It was disgusting.
Okay.
Almost-
Did you have any other good food throughout the weekend? Week?
At our hotel, the food was very, very spotty.
Okay.
Breakfast was usually okay, but sometimes it was gross. Lunch was you had the main area to eat, and then you had like the bar area, which had more of your snacky foods. So you'd have pizza, hamburgers, hot dogs.
And to be clear, nachos are served 24/7.
They are not served 24/7.
What?
Oh.
They were just in the. They were served all day in the bar area, but not in the main area.
I would be at the front desk.
Yeah.
All inclusive.
I was thinking the same thing. Like you would think nachos would be available at all times.
No,
But it
I
was not.
wouldn't.
It's okay.
You would absolutely think it would be there all times.
I would not. Me
You're
personally,
so
Adam.
classy. You're so classy.
Tacos, maybe.
Not a lot of tacos.
Maybe
there.
a bean dip or salsa.
like a
Salsa. Give me a salsa.
Yeah,
Is that like SOWLSA? Salsa.
Salsa.
yeah. The food was not great, but all inclusives, generally speaking, especially if it's buffet style, it's not going to.
How
be
was
great.
the dessert?
Desserts were.
Come on. All right, let's move on. I don't.
Did you have? All right.
I'm going to tell you something about desserts.
Okay.
There is it because it is so hot and humid.
Yeah.
They can't have a dessert that doesn't hold up to the heat that's around it.
Okay.
So a lot of times you might get like they did a lot of
Everything's a flambe.
Yeah, yes, everything's on fire. Everything, it's like you'd get like a bar,
ice cream flambe.
or like you'd get like a cheesecake or something
Sure.
like that. A square of cheesecake.
Something that's got a little bit of density
yeah,
to
but
it. It's gonna
what
hold up.
it wouldn't be like a full cream cheese base. It might be like a gelatin. They might have a gelatin base to it. Everything seemed to have gelatin in it to allow it to stand up to the heat.
So
So
it's
everything
time.
was-
It's time to be honest. You're away from Mexican authorities, and
Yeah.
they can't hurt you now, Shane. It's okay. Did they work some nacho cheese into the dessert?
Never.
Okay.
Well, it was interesting that you bring up desserts because we, when we were there, Carrie and I and Audrey got burnt really bad the second day.
So you just like slathered desserts on you? I'm
So
confused.
no, it's a long path to get to the end.
Make it
Wow.
Make it quick. So we went to the hotel gift shop and they had aloe there because we forgot to bring aloe. $20 for aloe. Now
Not inclusive at all on the aloe.
So the thing is, you can go into town and they have stores in town and they have one place that I don't know if you've ever heard of. It's called Mega, and it is essentially like the super Target of that region of Mexico. And you go there and you can buy a scooter there. You can buy an Xbox. You can buy groceries. You can buy clothes. And so to get to Mega, it's $8, and then to get back, it's $8. So you figure by the time you get there and you buy your aloe, it's a wash. So
Yeah.
we bought the aloe, but then we still wanted to go to Mega, so we ended up going there, taking a cab because we wanted to get some snacks because Audrey was not eating well. So you go there, and the main difference between Mega and like Walmart or a Super Walmart or Super Target is that they have areas where they just have raw meat sitting out. So like if you want to get tripe
Wow.
or if you want to get cow brains, it's there under, like you would go to buy bulk candy at a store or bulk grain. It's just there and you can get it. So, or just raw squids and octopus and stuff.
Not even refrigerated?
Most of the time, some of that stuff is not refrigerated. There might be like ice water underneath, ice water.
Sure.
But I mean, it's just,
You'd cook it long enough.
it'll be fine. So you have that, but we wanted to get some special different Mexican snacks.
Mm-hmm.
So Audrey got this thing. They look like Funyuns, except smoother and smaller, and they have lime flavor.
Right. It's their Fanitos Pequeño.
Is that really what they're called? And so then I picked out something called rancheritos.
Well, those aren't Mexican. I've had those.
Really? So what do they
Yes.
taste like?
They taste like Doritos.
Tastes like ranch dirt.
Rancher. And then the other thing we got was the Milch candy bar.
What's it called?
Milch.
No.
Milch.
Mitch?
Milch. And so what it is, it's a long tube of like, if you think of like rice, like puffed rice, that's a hollow tube of puffed rice, and then they inject like a chocolate filling in the inside, and then they wrap it in a cheap chocolate filling.
Okay.
And that might have been the most interesting dessert we had, and it was disgusting.
Wow.
I mean, I should have never bought anything called Milch.
No,
Like,
that
hey,
would
get
Sounds
some
like
Milch.
a typo.
even in the native tongue, it's probably not the best.
There's
thing
no
to
way.
get.
There's no.
Milch.
Yes. I don't think there is
No.
a ch in Spanish.
Yeah.
There is. I mean, there's churros.
chorizo,
For crying out
yeah.
loud.
So how does it pronounce then?
Milch?
Churro.
I don't know.
There we go. So we go, and everything there's no pesos. I mean, you don't have to pay for pesos. You can pay with American dollars. So you go in the line, and a lot of tourists, because it's very close to like they have like the ships that come in, the cruises. There's like 8 or 9 cruise ships because Cozumel is a big cruise destination. So a lot of those people will go to Mega, fill up on booze, and then go back. And so the workers there are very not impressed with anybody that's there. So they will.
They've seen it all.
So I go in, we pay. The woman gives me the total in pesos, and I could not crunch the numbers. So I was just that stupid American that I just gave her a bunch of money. Like, here's $60. And she gave me that look like, you stupid idiot. And she takes 40, gives me back 20, and she repeats what it was in pesos. Rolls her eyes and then gives me the change back. I've never felt so small in my life. And it's like it's one of those things where
You say gracias?
Yeah, I said gracias and my tail between my legs. But like you can see the receipt on the computer screen is going up, and as she's ringing it up, I'm desperately looking for the American currency on there, and it's not really there. And I just saw one number that looked like it was close to 60, so I'm just going to give her 60. Yeah, and she repeated it back to me like I don't know Spanish. If you would have said it in German, would have been great, but didn't happen. So
In Deutschmarks?
in Deutschmarks, yes.
So you've chatted an awful lot about the food.
Yeah.
What did you do for entertainment
For
while you were
fun,
there?
it was so all the complaining I've done because that's what the show is about. We had a great view. It was beautiful. We did a lot of swimming, a lot of snorkeling, a lot of going into town.
For $8 a pop?
For $8 a pop. Wow. And Audrey loved going into town because you never knew what kind of taxi you were going to get. Sometimes you would get a great, because they're just sort of waiting for you at the hotel, and they're just the next one in line. Sometimes you get a great van that's in perfect shape, and then other times you get something that was close to a death trap that literally had no suspension. And those are those.
And this was thrilling for Audrey.
And those are the vehicles that Audrey had to have. She'd be like, Dad, I really want to get a small taxi. I'm like, Audrey, you don't understand. The first time we took that small taxi, we were driving home like at 10 p.m. at night. I mean, the guy would hit a corner, and you literally would be Dukes of Hazzard on 2 wheels. And Audrey was so excited.
Wow.
And I'm
No,
like
risk
this
taker.
the whole time. And there's no seatbelts there. You
Oh,
know,
no.
You look for seatbelts, and the first vehicle that we got in when we got there, Audrey was trying to put the seatbelt in, and and like the plastic housing that was holding it shattered. And Audrey's like, what do I do, Dad? And I'm just like, I got the safety arm on you. Let's pray to God the speed limit is not over 30, and I can hold you into the cab if things go bad. But she loved that thing. I mean, and this guy who was driving it, he was like this. He was probably about 85, and that guy, he was in a hurry. He had places to be.
Well, he's going to die soon.
Yeah, and Audrey
Well,
loved
it's-
every
the faster
second
you
of
go, the more fares you can
Exactly.
Yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, we went into town a lot. Audrey bought a lot of souvenirs, and a lot of people tried to sell us timeshares.
get. Are there sights to see there, or is it all tourist
So there are
like resorty stuff?
there are sights to see.
Okay.
The problem is that in Cozumel, since it's a little bit more of a rural, it's an island that you can circle in Not, I mean, I think it's maybe a mile across. It's not very big.
Yeah.
And then I think 3 miles long. So you can get around it pretty quickly. It gets very rural as you get further out of the main areas. So what they suggest that you rent a car. And my first time there, I just was not in any sort of mindset that I'm going to rent a car and try to drive around here. I mean, they have
You're not going to conquer the island and
they've
plant
got a
a flag.
completely different driving style there, especially in the city.
Yeah.
I just, I'm scared to get on a plane. So why would I get in one of these things? And they even say, like the tips, do not, if you rent a car, take pictures of every area of the car. Make sure that the person that's renting the car is in the picture with you. So, because a lot of times they'll try to, there's damage on this car, you have to pay for this, or, we're going to send you to jail. So I just was not in any sort of mood to try to deal with any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But they have like eco parks where you can go and snorkel and do evil things like swim with dolphins, and they have they have a small Mayan ruins there.
Okay.
Stuff like that. But a lot of the majority of the big touristy stuff is across the way on the ferry over in Playa del
In the
Carmen.
mainland. Yeah. Okay.
Which we did when we were there on our honeymoon. So a lot of the stuff we didn't really feel the need to do. And Audrey would have sat in the pool all day long. I mean, kids love pools. It's very bizarre that way. So
That's like being back in the womb.
So yeah, that was my trip. We made it back just in time for a mega blizzard.
You did.
We did, but
Fuck this winter.
it's
So
over.
a great success. You
It
enjoyed
was a great success. We would definitely go back. The only other thing that I would like to do is if we were to go, would be to go with friends, or especially go with friends that might have kids, because you're sort of stuck.
All right. When are we going?
Yay. We'll go next year.
Would you go back to the Cozumel, or would you go somewhere else in Mexico?
I would go back to Cozumel for sure.
Yeah.
I think that
You want to investigate that zombie hotel?
Yeah,
I can tell.
for me, I would probably spend a little bit more. I mean, we got a really good deal on a hotel, but I would go to a more expensive hotel.
I'm curious what a trip like that costs, and if you don't want to talk how much it costs, that's fine. But if you're willing to offer up a number, I'm really curious.
Offline?
So I think that our trip was under $4,000,
Wow.
which was a really good price. And our travel agent said, you're not going to find prices like this. So that was a good price for us. So there you go.
Must be
All right.
nice. Making bank. Yeah, I'm getting a hum too.
Getting a little bit of a hum here. There we go. I think I fixed it. So
There's
yeah,
no
that,
hum over here, so
that was our trip. How much time did that take?
Forever.
we're at 47
Okay, we're
minutes.
skipping your story.
It's
Adam.
fine. Mine's boring.
So that was my catch up. I hope you enjoyed it. I really got into the zone there. I didn't even feel like I'm doing a podcast.
Wow,
I just felt
what
like
a
I was
champion.
talking to you guys.
I thought it was great.
It's gonna be tight,
I think it was.
y'all.
I'd give myself a 5 on how I did.
Out of
10.
no,
Yeah, I think
at least a 7.
I think it was poor, but I tried.
You had an awful lot of food content.
Yeah,
But
Food
I
was
think
gross.
primarily that's what you do when you
That's
go
what
on
I was
Mexican
mostly-
vacation. You eat food and you drink booze.
and trust me, I've got a million other things I could talk about.
Sure.
This could be an 18-part series. But I will just say this.
Maybe we'll take some offline. We'll have some additional questions.
I-
Sorry, audience.
I really liked my trip.
Donate to Patreon. Maybe you'll get that secret feed video.
Yeah.
Where we talk about the extra stuff.
Don't email my wife and tell her that I complained about the whole time, because I loved it, even though it didn't sound like it. It was a great trip. My wife got heat blisters all over her body at the end, Adam. That was great.
Here's the thing. If everything goes well, it's
Yeah.
not that interesting to talk about. It's
No.
more interesting to talk about the things that didn't go well.
Drink Wisconsinably, Jared. Drink
Wisconsinably.
All right.
Indeed.
Well, let's take a break,
Yep.
and we'll come back with Coming Soon.
We now join the scope already in progress.
Under the scope.
And Under the Scope is brought to you by Pet Petter.
What is
Pet Petter, the tool that pets your animals for you.
what? How does that work? How? Explain. Sorry.
This is very difficult.
It's autofocus. Autofocus is off, so you'll have to
just-
use your words.
Just Google the pet petter. Woof's Weekly calls it unique.
Okay.
I wonder
Wolf's
if this is
Weekly.
April Fool's. Like, this may not be a real thing.
Maybe.
Never touch your pets again! Exclamation mark.
Why would you want to?
It's
I mean,
Todd Lawson's
Yeah.
pet petter.
Take away all the fun parts of having a pet.
yes, the touching.
Yeah. Adam, what's
Yeah.
coming soon?
We got some stuff that's coming soon. There you go.
I wait for my cue, Adam. I
All
wait
right.
for my cue.
April 15th, we have some music. We've got an album from a pony named Olga. I like the band name.
Yeah. I like the album name.
The Land of Milk and Pony.
And pony,
And Pony.
milk and pony.
It's like milk and honey.
I get it. I get it.
Amps for Christ.
Yep.
Canyons, Cars, and Crows. Is that like electronic Jesus music?
I don't know. I think it might be like
Ironic?
ironic.
I'm holding out
maybe.
for drums for Satan.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, all drums are for Satan because rock and roll is Satan's music.
It is.
Seven
Devil's
Dust
music.
has an album. Sonic Avenues and the Afghan Wigs.
They're back.
I thought. Now, were they?
The
No,
Midnight.
were they just the Wigs for a while, or were
No.
they? Afghan?
There was an Afghan Wigs for a long time, right?
Well, Afghan. They're from the they're from the
90s
90s
band, right?
I
Yeah.
was a fan of them for a while.
Well, guess what, Jared? Check them out on Spotify. They got a new design. It's all dark. You showed me.
I
The
did.
Twilight. The lead singer was in the Twilight Singers.
Okay.
He had and they sounded very similar to the Afghan Wigs. I like them a lot too.
All right.
So hopefully that'll be a good album.
I'm your gentleman. Just remember that. That's one of their songs.
I do know that.
Honky's
song.
Ladder. Movies. We've got Transcendence. What's that?
It's a science fiction movie starring
Johnny-
Johnny Depp,
Johnny
I
Depp.
believe.
Yeah. Could be interesting. I don't know.
That's a Wednesday release.
That's what it says.
It's weird.
Interesting. And
Is that? Oh, it's because it's Easter weekend.
okay.
Trying to get a head start on that.
420. Smoke them if you got them, guys. And A Haunted House 2. Is that a spoof
Yeah.
horror movie?
Mm-hmm.
All
Say
right.
Michael B. Jordan's in that, isn't he?
Let's
Oh.
say yes.
I think he is.
The Wire Zone.
Your new Johnny Storm.
DVD and
Star
Blu-ray.
of Chronicle.
Yes. Chronicle 2, by
Smash.
the way. We didn't talk about it last week. Chronicle 2 has a writer.
Oh, well, that's something.
I
I'm-
liked
I'm-
Chronicle.
Never saw it.
I'm disappointed that we're not going to get the Max Landis. Or was it Max Landis?
That was the
The whoever created the first one.
Yeah.
We're not going to get that vision of what it could have been, and I think that's a loss.
Yeah.
They,
I like that
they couldn't
movie.
work it out.
I never saw
That
it.
might be one of my favorite found footage movies. And it doesn't even do a good job being found footage, but it's
good.
I liked it.
It's an interesting kind of deconstruction of superheroes.
Yeah. DVD and Blu-ray with Black Nativity, Derek season 1. That's clearly Dexter's alter ego. Right? Flowers in the Attic.
It's the adventures of him as a lumberjack.
Perfect.
Yes, he assumes the name Derek.
Right.
He goes and chops down redwoods.
Yes.
You just spoiled the.
He joins a crew from Axemen.
You spoiled the finale of Dexter. It's good.
I don't care. It's been almost a year.
I know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's
Sorry.
fine. That is how the show ends, everyone, and it's terrible.
And that's why
Don't
people
watch
hate
it.
Stop after season 4.
and
We're still smarting from Dexter.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Right
Do
along.
you think we'll be talking about How I Met Your Mother a year
no,
from now?
it
like
wasn't that bad.
Okay.
It just
We'll
wasn't
talk about
good.
it next show. Shut up.
Tyler Perry's Medea's Neighbors from Hell. Is this the last Tyler Perry movie?
That? This was going to be my hit it.
Video
Surprising.
games.
It's
We
surprising
have Max: The Curse of the Brotherhood. That is made by the Walking Dead guys, I think.
Is it?
I think so. The good Walking Dead game.
Okay.
2014 FIFA World Cup and Kirby Triple Deluxe.
So,
Kirby game.
So we're
People
getting
like-
some video. We're back in the video game world.
People
again.
like Kirby games.
They do.
All right. What up?
One more thing.
What?
Hit it or
Oh, you
miss
want that?
it.
Yeah.
Hit of the week. Hit it or miss it. Miss of the week. Look out!
Look out.
It's hit it or miss it, folks. It's where we pick one thing to hit or miss
Yeah.
this coming week.
And
I'm
it's
gonna,
you, Jared.
I'm going to pick a hit this
Oh!
week, and I'm going to pick the new release from the Japanese pop punk trio Shonen Knife. The album is called Overdrive.
Spit.
I didn't know they had a new album coming out, but I went and checked out the video for their first song. The first song is called Bad Luck Song. Sounds a little bit like they're saying butt luck song when they sing it, but that's because
And
of
that's
the
why
accent.
you like it.
No, it's just a nice, solid like pop punk song. A little, almost sounds a little bit 70s, and I kind of enjoyed it. So check it out. Shonen Knife's new album, Overdrive, coming out this week.
All right. Back to me.
Yeah.
I'm throwing it back to myself. That's it.
Smooth as always.
Hey, happy 9-year anniversary, guys.
Smooth over everything.
9 years. Hopefully, we'll be getting a flood of comments on what people's favorite memories are from
Yes.
the previous 8 years now that we've entered our 9th year. And hopefully we'll have a lot of those to listen to and to read on our next batch of shows because right now we don't have any. Nothing from episode 168. Nobody commented.
I'm going to share my favorite memory of the scope in the last 9 years. It was
Okay.
when we created the Judge Ito dancers. That was my very favorite moment.
We did. If you didn't get in on the last batch of favorite moments from the last 8 years, and you still have something you want to say, or if you have your favorite Judge Ito dancer performance that you want to talk about, You can write in at comments@thescopeshow.com. You can call the voicemail line 612-21-SCOPE. That's 612-217-2673. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and on YouTube, where if you're watching the video, you're already on YouTube.
I did a deep dive into Tumblr just this past weekend.
Did you? Yeah.
Was
I
it
found some-
mostly animated gifs of ladies' butts?
No, I
that's
just-
mostly what Tumblr is. And
No,
I'm
they're just
thankful for it.
Some people that use it as a blogging tool, which I read some very interesting things. So
Yep. It's
I'm going
a
to try to put that into my social media world a little bit more.
And if you find a link that you want to publish to the Scope Show, you can do that.
I can.
On our Tumblr. All those links are at thescopeshow.com. And as always, we ask you, if you like the show and you want to help support the show financially, we do have a Patreon account. It's patreon.com/thescopeshow. You can contribute as little as $1 an episode, and you can cap that month by month. So, if we put outside and you decide, we're going to do 100 episodes this month, we're not going to exceed your cap. You can still cap it at $3, $4, $5, whatever you want. Cancel anytime. That's it.
Guys, I've got a great idea, and I'm not going to share it with our listeners, but this is how I am a future-thinking kind of guy.
Future thinking.
I've got a great idea for our 10th anniversary.
Okay.
What we could do is a special thing. I'll tell you offline.
Okay, it's a teaser. Come back in 1 year. You'll
Well,
find
2
out
years,
more.
technically.
We'll do it in 1 year.
Because this is really we just hit our 8th anniversary. We're in our 9th.
So maybe we do it at the
We're
start
working
of our
on the
10th.
9th year.
I don't know if this idea can wait 2
Maybe
years.
you can keep it till episode 200, because that's probably going to hit before any of those other milestones.
I like that. Okay. Well, you heard Jared. You heard him.
I did.
Well, let's wrap this up, guys.
I heard me.
You've heard a lot of me this episode. I apologize. Next episode, I promise, a lot more Adam, a lot more Jared, a lot less Shane. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. More Scope coming at you next week. Bye for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves once again at the end. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I know I have. Fear not, Scope faithful. Days shall pass as if they were but a moment, and Jared, Adam, and Shane will return with another thrilling episode. Until then, send your comments to comments@thescopeshow.com or leave a voicemail message by dialing
612-21-SCOPE. That's 612-217-2673.
Thanks for listening, faithful fans. This is Tony Partington saying Buenas noches. Tune in next time to another terrific edition of The Scope.